Hello, my name is Donald Bear, and I'm going to introduce word study to us today and introduce the concept of orthographic knowledge and orthographic development and try to explain why word study is important. You can see my contact information below. Uh, my website has a lot of videos, and you're welcome to write to me. So, what is word study? And this is the basic equation for what I think word study is. If you can put this together, I think this is what we're about in terms of integrating phonics, spelling, and vocabulary. When we teach phonics, we're also looking at spelling. And when we teach spelling, we're also teaching phonics. Or when we're teaching spelling at the upper levels, we're also teaching vocabulary. Here's a child sorting and writing the words into his word study notebook. And as you can see, he's working on ing endings and e drops and short vowel and long vowel. And this is happening at his seat. So why do we do word study? What's the rationale? And uh, this is what we would say. We want our students to become literate, and to do that, they need accurate recognition of words in text and fast, accurate production of words in writing. Freddie has posed the question about automaticity in reading, and she's going to point out why that can be difficult for students in some situations. I think that's sort of the fun of our meeting today, is to see how some of Freddie's ideas interact with some of this stage stuff. So developmental word study is active. That's a major principle of learning, I would say. And so we teach explicitly through hands-on activities the vital skills of word recognition, spelling, and vocabulary. And what's a lot of fun here is that Tisha, who's coming on after me or after Freddie, is going to combine these ideas of word recognition, spelling, and vocabulary, and then Kevin will continue. So here are some kids working together at their seats, doing a blind sort. Here's a child at her seat, going on a word hunt and writing them in her word study notebook. I said I was going to introduce the idea of orthography, and I'm a little stubborn on this. I think it is an important idea because it brings together the concept of integrating reading, writing, and vocabulary and spelling. It takes a developmental approach, that is, our view of orthography. And we're looking at three layers of orthography. And then we've also thought about the stages of orthographic development. So orthography is the memory for the spelling of specific words. And then using that memory to create knowledge of patterns that govern spelling. And so this is the second most important slide, perhaps, where we're looking at the stages of development. And we're looking at that synchrony and integration of development, that emergent spelling goes with emergent reading. Beginning reading goes with a particular stage we call letter name. Now, you can find other people who call these things quite something different. Airy works up into these stages, these three stages, and you'll find others who use similar stage theory or have slightly different names. But we look at 5 stages. Often people sort of stop around here, but we do proceed, and we're looking into derivational relations. At the top, you see alphabet, pattern, and meaning. And those are the three layers of the writing system. Every writing system has these layers or something close to it. It could be sound, pattern, and meaning. Even in Chinese, you do have a sound symbol correspondence. And this will vary with the writing system that you're going to see as it disperses along these 5 stages. So here's another look at the stages. Let's start with the layers again: alphabet, sound, pattern, and meaning. We can think about Spanish, which in Spanish, this bar will extend further because it's such a consistent writing system. In Chinese, I think that the meaning moves back a little bit because of the radicals and the meaning fix in a character. We use spelling at the bottom to tell us about, to help us think about the child's development and to think about the stages of reading. And these are the behaviors that we look at for reading. And then at the bottom, you can see the stages of spelling across the 5 stages: early, middle, and late. So if a child spells ship, S-H-E-P, run your finger up, and what stage of reading might we expect this child to be in? And that would be early transitional. So let me briefly share pictures of word study across the 5 stages. First of all, in the emergent stage, these are the 6 areas that we focus on, almost in this order, but not quite. But oral language is first and foremost. And I think I'm interested in what Freddie thinks about, not so much thinks about this, but the role of oral language in reading can't be underestimated. Phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge. But number 6 rather, is where I like to spend a lot of time: concept of word in text. And this is a child trying to point accurately to something that she knows in oral language. These are the next stage kids who are looking in the middle of this stage, looking at word families, short vowel word families, in this case, short A and short E. And they're using their pointers, their animal pointers, as you can see. And this is an independent seat activity. In tutoring, we may have an aide come in or a high school kid work with us. And this is me at the next stage where you see we're looking at short and long vowels. And really, I'm trying to spend time here videotaping myself playing with these sorts. I would call it flip teaching, in the sense that, can I have families look at this video? And then that saves me a little time when we work together because they've already seen it. The parents know what's going on. And in this slide, we're seeing advanced and intermediate stage. And what I want to point out here is that in this 5th grade classroom, that they're doing whole class activities and small group activities. In this case, open and closed syllables, and in this case, simple affixation, or rather direct look at affixation. We also look at vocabulary and word webs. Kevin and Tisha wrote this lovely book with a little bit of our participation, and you can see that we're looking at the meaning connection. In the materials that I'm putting online, you can see some of these activities, particularly take apart. And so I demonstrated, and there's a worksheet for you to use as well. These are some websites that I love. The bottom one is actually for pay after you first use it, but the rest are for free. And and there are many others. Vocabulary.com, I don't even see on here. So the basic premise of a lot of our word study is sorting tasks, in which students compare and contrast what they see and what they hear, things that go together and those that don't. Structured literacy is a big thing, and my colleague Marcia Invernizzi put this together. It'll be online for you and in the handout here, and it's coming up in a book as well. And I've modified it just very slightly, but you can see the components on the left-hand side and how some of word study might address these. So here's some word study. We do know how to teach word study. We've looked at 10 indicators of effective word study, all the way from knowing development well enough to differentiate and preparation and organization of materials, all the way down to number 7, which entails, I think, a lot of these engagement and teacher talk. We look for students' reflection and their ability to talk about what they're seeing in their word study. So that's the developmental sequence. That's how we think about word study. And those are some kids having fun doing it. And let me go ahead and pass it on. We do have, these are the materials. These are very good references, I think, for a lot of what I was saying. These are the materials that you'll find online. References. And this is a good transition to Freddie's work because she also thinks about second language learners or multilingual environments. And in this case, the kids are looking at some of their standards and making sure they understand what they are by using their first languages. We also need to think about teaching some of the vocabulary as well. Okay, and remote learning. This is something that we can talk about at another time, but these are some of the activities that we do remotely. All righty.